Welcome to the C# Programmer Zambia. In this video, we're going to be introducing functions. Alright, so before we go ahead, I would like you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get instant notifications on my uploads. So without further ado, let's dive right into it.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Alright, so the first thing that you should be asking is the definition of a function. Alright, so what is a function? Well, the definition is very easy. A function is simply a group of statements that performs a particular task. Alright, so these functions have got particular tasks that they need to perform. Now, what we mean in this way is, let's say we've got, let me give an example. Let's say we've got a program that needs to like a banking system or an ATM program. Okay, so let's say this program is supposed to be able to withdraw, able to be used to deposit money, able to be used to check the balance, able to be used to send money and all that. Okay, so each of these things that I've mentioned is going to be like a function on its own. Okay, so we're going to have a function that is going to be used to withdraw money, that is going to be used to deposit money, that's going to be used to check the balance, and that's going to be used to send money. Another example is here. Let's say we've got a program that is being used to calculate the volume of a cube and a cuboid. Okay, so we're obviously going to have two functions. The first function will be calculating the volume of a cube, and the second one of a cuboid. All right, and you've got so many other things that you can calculate the volume for, so you can include other functions to calculate their volume. All right, so this is an introduction to functions. All right, so we're obviously going to be explaining some basic stuff. All right, so firstly, we've been using a certain function throughout all these programs that we've created in the previous 25 or something videos. Okay, so the function that we've been using is the main function, okay, which we can already see here, and we can already see the general, all right, the general layout of any function. Okay, this is going to be the general layout of all our other functions. Okay, so firstly, we've got our return type. So this int is simply the return type. So our return type is simply the data type of the value which is being returned to the function. Okay, so this explanation is going to be easy because our main function right now is returning a 0, which is an integer. So it's just sensible for us to include int as our return type because we're returning an integer 0. If we were returning a float or a string, we would have said string main. For a float main. For a double main. For a character main. I guess you can you get what I mean by that. But then it's not always that your function needs to return a value. Sometimes your function is not going to return a value. Therefore, those kinds of functions that return no values are going to be called void. All right, so the return type will be void. So we simply say void, and if our main function, for example, is not returning any value, we simply say void main. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to define the functions. So already we know that for us to define a function, firstly we should have its data type, the return type. What is that? Okay, right here. Then we've got the function name, then we've got our parameter list. So our parameter list is simply these brackets that we have here. Now right now it's empty because we're not expecting any parameters. Okay, our function does not expect any parameters, but in the I should be explaining this in the next video in some deeper details. Okay, why we need the parameter list and what it is going to be used for. So here we're simply doing an introduction, and we're going to declare we're going to define a function which is going to have a void return type, with a name obviously and no parameter list set. We start just from the basic part, okay, just right from the scratch. All right, so we also know that our function should have a body in between those braces. All right, so just like we have it here. Okay, so our function should be every function that we're going to have should be declared just before it should be declared before it's called. Okay, so our main function is going to be used to be calling the functions that we're going to the functions that are going to create. Okay, now it's going to be sensible for us to declare our functions, and that's just actually a rule. Declare the function before you call it. So mostly we're going to declare our functions before our main function. All right, so our main function is going to be like the last function that we're going to have in our program. All right, so let's create a basic function, okay, which simply prints out our name. So my name is Clarence, and I'm going to create a program that prints out Clarence, obviously. So firstly we're going to say void. Okay, so we can just some space up there. Okay, so void because we're not retaining anything, and then we can simply say my name because I'm trying to output my name. Yeah, and we're going to have an empty parameter list. Then we're going to have our braces. So inside our braces here is, well, we're simply going to have something like that. So we simply say my name, C out, and my name is Clarence. Wow, I spelled my name wrongly. Okay, so like that. And well, end line, no, end line is just going to be the same now. Okay, so we have our function here, and in order for me to complete my explanation, remember when I said the functions always have to be called for them to perform the task. If we run our program right now, you might expect that it's going to output Clarence, but well, it's not going to do anything because our main function is empty. All right, so in order for us to have our function perform its task, we simply need to call it inside our main function. So calling the function is simply typing the name of the function and its parameters. So right now our function does not have any parameters, therefore the parameter list is going to be blank. So we simply say my name, which is the function that we declared here. All right, and thereafter we're simply just going to include the brackets and we terminate. Okay, so it's kind of similar to calling a variable. All right, although just a little different because we've got some parameters there. All right, so there we can now run our program, and this time Clarence, which is my name, is going to be printed out to the screen. So you can try this with your name, and you're going to have your name printed out to the screen. And this time, remember, we are using functions. All right, so this was a short introduction to what functions really are and how we can call functions. So in the next video, we're not going to be having a problem. We're not going to be having problems of calling functions. We've covered that right now. We can call a function just by typing it, typing its name exactly the way we declared it there, and its parameter list. If it's empty, you leave it empty. And also a function that does not return any value is declared a void. All right, so thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next one.